Hi there, I'm Fiona Goble. I'm the author of about 20 knitting books, mostly on small items like toys, and I just wanted to chat about these little pets that I've been knitting. They're called Amigurumi, which is a Japanese word for little creatures, and their distinctive look is their big heads and little bodies, so they look really cute. They stand about, or sit rather, just a few inches tall. So they don't take much yarn. They take about 30 metres or 35 yards of standard double knitting yarn, this sort of thing. I always recommend, where possible, to use a yarn that has got some wool content, just because they're quite small and it's much easier to get a neat seam if you don't have 100% acrylic yarn. Particularly, I would recommend against using a really sort of budget acrylic yarn, or anything like silk or bamboo. Just a standard wool or wool acrylic mix works best. I knit always on very short knitting needles. I think they're about 15 centimetres or 6 inches. And I just find that with small items, it's much easier to work on short needles. So these are much shorter than a standard knitting needle. I've knitted them in these particular colours, but you really can choose any colour you like. I use plastic toy eyes. There are 8mm plastic toy eyes and just a little bit of black embroidery thread, but you could just as easily use black knitting yarn for their noses. And in the patterns, I explain exactly how to do that. And this little fellow has also got a knitted scarf, and these have got little embellishments around their neck, just little bits of narrow ribbon. But you really can make them your own, mix and match the ears. The body type, the bodies are a little bit different, but very similar. And they're stuffed with polyester, just standard polyester toy filling. And it's always important to not overstuff them, because if you do that, they get a bit bulky and misshapen and end up looking a bit weird. But I hope you enjoy knitting them. They're one of my sort of favourite, and actually one of my earliest patterns. And as well as these, I've got specially for Easter, but really you could knit him any time of year. And it's a little egg, and it's about actually very much standard egg size, so it would fit in a standard egg cup. And once you take him open, there's a little chick inside, complete with little wings. And he's got just little French knots for his eyes and his beak. And it's a very easy embroidery stitch to work, but you could just as easily use little beads, so long as it wasn't for a little child. And he does come completely out of his shell as well. So I hope you enjoy knitting these, and that the person that you're making them for, even if it's just yourself, really enjoys receiving them too.